Yo, party people, it's Ashley of SingleWomanChronicles.com, where being single is a beautiful choice rather than a miserable circumstance. And today's episode is sponsored by none other than my books, How to X Your Ex, A Guide to Getting Past Unhealthy Relationships, and Single Woman Chronicles, an Atlanta love story, kinda. Both are available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble's website, as well as books on Google Play and Audibles. All right, as you guys can see, I look a little homeless, and that is because after a week of me and my birthday festivities, I am beat. I don't got no more to give. I can't do it no more. As you can hear, my voice isn't even back to 100%. My voice has been gone for a week. Almost, yeah, about a week. It's really, I don't know. I lost my voice in New York. My birthday was epic though. I do not regret anything. So it just is what it is. So yeah, shout out to the wig wearing community. I don't know how y'all do it. I pay like I just my hats off to y'all because I've had this wig on for like 2 weeks and I am ready to snatch it off my head. I am so very hot. Why don't they have fans under wigs? Like, why don't they have wig fans where like you can insert it like up underneath, like a little small, and it just gives you a breeze on your scalp? Anyone looking for an idea? If we can just get wig fans, I think that'll be big business for you. That's all I'm saying. Wig fans, okay? All right. So today I want to talk about an epidemic that plagues women everywhere. And this epidemic is called self blame. I myself have dealt with this. I'm better at it now. But women everywhere deal with this thing called self blame, where when something goes wrong with the guy, we blame ourselves. And the guy doesn't say anything, he typically says nothing. These are just assumptions. And for some reason, in our assumptions, in our overthinking, it gets to self blame somehow, right? So, this episode is talking about how a lack of effort is not your fault. His lack of effort is not your fault. So, I was having a conversation today with one of my homegirls, and we just got into how we had situations with men where we're cool and the conversation is good, but then at some point they start acting weird, and for some reason we start blaming ourselves, right? So she was telling me about how she was talking to this really attractive guy, and they were cool. He started planning dates and just all of these things, and then some form or another something happened, and he just kind of fell off and just kind of stopped texting. He kind of fell back, all of these things, in which she proceeded to say something along the lines of, yeah, I think I may have come on too strong. I feel like maybe when I said this, he took it the wrong way, and whatever, whatever. And so I stopped her because I said, listen, one of my mottos is, I'm not about to solve equations with these men. What I mean by that is, I'm not about to sit up here and try to figure out why something went wrong. If it went wrong, if you didn't blatantly say, Ashley, you did something, if I can't blatantly like connect the dots where I'm like, okay, maybe I was late for a date, maybe I stood him up, maybe I lied about something and he caught me, like, if it's not a tangible reason that's like I can prove without a shadow of a doubt, if we were on trial, there would be without a shadow of a doubt, I'm guilty, I'm not solving this equation. So my thing with her was like, girl, why are you assuming that you did something? Maybe he died. Maybe he in jail. Maybe he lost your number. Maybe his wife caught him. A lot of scenarios that don't involve you. Because for me, she pointed out, she's like, your confidence is crazy for you to believe that the only way a guy can just not respond to you or show that much effort out of nowhere is he died. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. But the reason I am here is because I've internalized so much along my journey of dating that to reverse that, to date properly, to date without anxiety, to date without like being so attached to the results, I have to have a different mindset. And at the beginning of this mindset is I'm not about to solve equations when I don't know what happened, right? Like I'm just not going to do it. Because here's the thing. Sadly, we live in a society that constantly tells women and what we need to do in order to get a man. You rarely see things go viral about what men need to do to get a woman because, again, there's this belief in the community that we're having a shortage of men and men are going out of style or men are becoming extinct. So women need to do something to themselves to get the man. And then there's this whole femininity movement, which honestly I don't agree with because I think it's kind of toxic. Because I was listening to TikTok the other day and it was talking about how like femininity is not monotonous. Like being feminine doesn't look one way. And I hate that. Like, because think about it. When you think, oh, she's really feminine, you think Whitley Gilbert from Different World, right? If you're not old enough to understand, Google it. Different World, very popular show from the 90s. But you think Whitley Gilbert, you think very prissy, always on, always got her hair done, you know, very dainty, wants a guy to open everything, do everything for her, you know, kind of like damsel in distress. But that's not just what being feminine is. I feel like because you are a woman, that means you are feminine. Like, I think the word more so is vulnerable. So here's what where I'm going with that. I feel like a lot of the times, because we're trying to protect ourselves as women, because we're so used to getting hurt, we're so used to people coming in with ill intentions and trying to take something from us, be it our attention, be it our vagina, be it our homes, because it's a lot of like men who don't have homes. Like they're trying to get something from us, right? Our validation, their ego boosted, whatever. We're so used to that we become guarded. So when we become guarded, we aren't operating in our authenticity because we're hiding behind a wall, right? So I feel like the only time a woman is not being quote unquote feminine is when she's being guarded, because she's not allowing herself to be 100% who she really is. That's what I look at feminism as. I don't see it as this one way of being, because not everyone is like that. Like, I am not like the super prissy girl. I'm just not. Like, I'm a tomboy at heart. Like, I'm super chill. Like, you know, I enjoy getting my hair done. I enjoy getting my nails done. But I don't enjoy wearing heels. Most of the time, I got on like tight shorts, real relaxed clothes. Like, I'm just not the super quote unquote societal feminine girl. And I just hate that we are critiqued at that level that says, is something wrong with you? So many times when we experience these moments where somebody comes into our life and then it doesn't pan out and there's no communication on that side, because ghosting is such a phenomenon, we automatically blame ourselves. We think we're not blank enough. I wasn't I wasn't feminine enough. I wasn't vocal enough. I wasn't chill enough. And it's like, why are you painting this picture and blaming yourself for something that just didn't work out? Because some people, you don't even know the story. Like, you really have no idea. So for you to down yourself and basically sit and be sad about something and blame yourself for something, you literally have no idea what happened. How about just say, and move on. That's what I do. Like, I just don't know what happened. I do make the joke like he probably died. I do be feeling like that sometimes, like he probably died. Or maybe he had ill intentions, but when I catch myself trying to solve the problem, because that's what it is. It's human nature to want to solve the problem, to answer the question of why this happened. And if we don't have the answer, we're going to create one. So if I find myself creating an answer, i.e., solving the equation, I just stop myself like, why are you doing this? This literally just happened to me last week. I met this guy in Kroger. I'm in Kroger. I'm walking from aisle to aisle. Every time I'm on an aisle, he's on the aisle. So I'm looking like, I hope this dude don't think I'm stalking him. We just keep being on the same aisle. So then I walk outside. He walks past me and I'm like, this is crazy. So I hear, excuse me. So he comes up to me and he was a cute guy. Like, I liked his build. Cause I prefer guys with, kind of girthy, like not like chubby, but like with some mass on him, cause I'm thick too. And he was really tall. He looked like he was like 6'2", 6'3". And I'm like, we could do this, you know? So we standing outside, and right now in Georgia, it is mad hot. Like, it's melting season. So I'm like, look, it's too hot to be having conversations. Just give me a number. I mean, I'm gonna give you my number, hit me up, whatever. So we started texting. Right off bat, I'm like, are you single? Are you in a relationship? Is someone in a relationship with you? Are you married? He's like, nah, LOL. Are you? And I'm like, nope, super single, like, whatever. We talk about age. Then I'm like, he's like, I've been here for such and such amount of years. I'm asking, do you like it? So we're really going back and forth in this good conversation. He's not giving me closed-ended answers. Like, every time I ask him something, he answers, then he immediately asks me something. He's keeping it going. But then, like, this is the first conversation. So, like, after a second, he just kind of, like, his responses changed abruptly. And it was, like, weird. Like, you could tell. Because it went from, like, him answering and then saying and you to him sending one word answers to him, like, just responding to the text with the reaction, like just a heart or haha or whatever. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Like, is something going on? Like, I know I don't know this dude, but it's just weird to, like, abruptly out of nowhere just stop. Like, it was so weird. And so I'm just like, okay, Ash, are you just going to leave it alone? Because, like, I'm really not into chasing people because I just met this person. He approached me. He asked me for my number. He initiated the text. Like, this is weird. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think I'm not at the level where I can call him out. But at the same time, I'm a very sarcastic, funny person. Like, I lead with jokes. I approach a lot of uncomfortable moments with jokes or like sarcasm. So I said, I'm going to just do that. So I text like, okay, well, my shoulders hurt from carrying this conversation. So I guess I'm going to talk to you later. And so he responded with like crying, laughing emojis. And so I responded with this emoji, the shrug emoji, right? So that was the last time we talked. And it was just weird. And I went into that moment of like trying to solve the equation, but I stopped myself and was like, you just met this person. Like, a lot of the times with most people, I think it's not that you were just so gung-ho about this person that you just met. It's more so the excitement about the possibilities. Because, like, it's rare that I meet someone that I'm actually attracted to. They ask me for my number and they actually hit me up, right? Because I really just don't go out to a lot of places to get approached. And then when I do get approached, a lot of the times it's by people that I'm actually not attracted to. So when it is by someone you're attracted to, initially the conversation was on. Like, we seem to want the same things. We were talking about marriage, like first few just texts. So for it to kind of go left, it's like, wow, that's crazy. But while I'm about to sit here and play mind reader, play That's So Raven on a situation that I have no idea about. Like, why am I about to sit here and judge myself or go through all the Rolodex of what could be wrong with me? Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And no, I'm not saying that we're perfect. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, right? Not at all. I know that I'm not. But I'm also saying that I'm not about to blame myself for something I have no idea about. Cuz you really have no clue. Cuz this person could be married, this person could literally have died. This person, you know, could have had the intent of just smashing and me coming off serious. And, you know, like, you just never know. And honestly, I believe in being in your authentic self in the beginning, because it's easier to weed out who's not for you. Like, my biggest issue with this whole feminist movement, this whole, you know, the dating people, you know, the relationship gurus telling you to do this one thing and to yield this kind of result, is like, you're basically making me step outside of who I am in order to put on a show, in order to receive attention or the relationship. But what happens when I'm in the relationship and I want to be myself? Then what? You basically got into this relationship as a lie. And I hate that. Like, we all show some form of representative, and usually that's just being the best versions of ourselves at all times. But we're still being ourselves. But a lot of these people are telling you to literally step outside of who you are. Now, if that is your goal, like, say, for example, you're like, okay, listen, I really want to, if you're a woman and you're like, okay, I really want to invest in my appearance more. Like, I want to start dressing up more. I want to start doing my hair more. I want to start doing my makeup and, like, practicing and doing it. I get that. Like, I'm not even tripping on that. But if you're saying things like, okay, I know I'm really big on communication, but this relationship guru told me that I shouldn't, like, need to talk to someone every single day, or I shouldn't need him to express how he feels about me. I should just be okay with, like, no, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Everybody need different things in order to be happy. You have to know what you need in order to be happy. Stop letting these people sell you these lies, because you're not going to be happy. Because the ultimate goal isn't getting the guy. The ultimate goal is being happy, right? So why step outside of your authenticity? For me, oh, baby, I can't go no day without talking to the dude I really like. No. And I'm okay with that. I used to hate that about myself. I used to be like, oh, I wish I was like those people who could go without it or whatever. But I have a friend who, she tells me all the time, she's like, girl, I ain't got to talk to my dude every day. I don't care. And that's her genuine belief. But stop putting on fake stuff because you think it'll make you more attractive to the masses. That's the thing. The goal isn't to be attractive to the masses. The goal is to find the person who is your person, to find your people. That's why target audience is a thing. That's even a thing in dating, right? So what I'm saying is, when things don't work out, don't internalize them. Don't blame yourself. You just haven't found your audience. That's really it. You haven't found your audience. Stop internalizing the rejection. And a lot of the times we look at rejection wrong. Like, we internalize things that are rejection, and they're really not, because we be wanting a certain outcome and we don't get the outcome and we think that's rejection. That's not always rejection. That's just, it didn't work out. Y'all weren't compatible. You're not going to be compatible with everybody. And I know we want to, because, I mean, it's human nature to just want to belong and to be liked or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's human nature. Anyone who says they don't want that, they're lying. They just know how, like, they don't need the constant validation, but it would be lovely to be liked as, you know, by as many people as they like, you know? But that's just not reality. But we're not trying to appeal to the masses. You're trying to appeal to the people who will make the effort to make you happy. And here's another thing. We have to also understand that a lot of how people are has nothing to do with you and everything to do with how they were raised and their own character. Like, if someone comes into your life and they're very lazy with how they love you or the effort that they show you, many times it has literally nothing to do with you. This literally is just how they operate. This is how they see love. This is how they view love. This is how they were shown love growing up. So that's all they know how to do. And the only way for them to level up is for them to want to. So a lot of times it has nothing to do with you. And another thing is I've been noticing a lot of people say they want one thing, but I don't think that they are aware that what they're saying they want is not aligned with their actions. What do I mean by that? I hear a lot of men tell me they're sick of fakeness. They don't want a chick who's, all about social media, who's like out here in these streets, who want all this attention and blah, 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 blah. But as soon as they meet me in person, they're asking me what my Instagram is. Sir, I'm my Instagram. Like, what you need my Instagram for if you met me in person? You're saying you want the real, you saying you want me, but why are you asking me for my Instagram if you meet me in person? The math ain't mathing. Like, the math isn't mathing. Or a guy be like, I'm tired of gold diggers, but he's posting about how much money he makes in the car that he drives. The math ain't mathing. It's just not. So I feel like we're in a society that lacks a lot of awareness. So that's even more reason why you can't internalize. And listen, I believe in this. Like, say, for example, your situation isn't like mine. It's not like a situation where you met that person that day and then he decided to just disappear and act weird after the conversation. Y'all never talk again. It's only one day. So, like, of course, I'm not about to internalize it. But I've also had situations where I've been talking to a person for a few weeks and we vibing, and then all of a sudden they kind of like, it fizzles out. It's not necessarily a ghosting, because it's like a lot of people don't have the common decency to just come and be like, hey, I'm not feeling this for this reason. So they would rather let it fizzle out because, one, they don't have the courage or communication skills to tell you the truth, or two, they want the door to stay open. So if they let it fizzle out, instead of just putting a period in it, they put a comma in it, they can come back and, spin the block, right? But sometimes I've had situations where, I give a great example. I have a male friend. I wouldn't even call him a male friend. I have someone I dated in the past. And we dated when I was like in college. And it was always a back and forth with us. And then he moved out of town. He ended up coming back in town. And like when we first came in town, he was like trying to get at me real heavy. But I was kind of like, nah, I'm good. Because I was thinking about back in the day. Back then, he woman out how he almost owned me type thing. And it was my ego. And then eventually I was like, I don't hang out with this dude. So we hung out and we hit it off. And we were just talking about, he was telling me like, I really want to take you out. I want to do all these things like that. Mind you, we've been knowing each other for over a decade. So he's telling me all this stuff. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so I'm like, all right, cool. The ball is in your court. The ball was in his court and he never dribbled it, never bounced it, never shot it, never crossed over. Nothing. Nothing, people. Nothing. So I'm like, I sat on it. I was annoyed because I'm like, dude, why did you sell me that dream? Because, like, when he was telling me all this, I'm like, okay, we had a good time hanging out. I'm interested. Okay, cool. So when he didn't do anything, he didn't hit me up. It's like he hit me up more before he sold me the dream than he did after it was sold. It was so weird. And I'm like, did I do something wrong? Did I say something? Is it because of my celibacy journey? Did he forget that and then got reminded? Just all of these things, solving these equations. And then I quickly checked myself and I was like, I'm not going to solve equations with this man. Either I'm just going to let it ride if I can get over it, or I'm going to ask him. So because I knew him like that, I asked him. I was like, listen, I've been curious about what happened and why. So can you just let me in on why you would sit here and tell me you want to take me out and do all this stuff, and then immediately you don't, and you just fall off? Like, what was it? What was the reason? And so he goes into how he's trying to get himself together, and he felt like although he wanted that, he just didn't feel like he was ready, and blah, 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 whatever. Now, he could have been lying. Like, I'll never know. But all I'm saying is, everything he said, had nothing to do with me from what he said. So I gotta go with that because this is the thing. What is me blaming myself and trying to solve equations going to solve for me or help me do? Nothing. All it's gonna do is have you sitting there feeling bad about yourself. And for what? Because I believe you lead better, especially in dating, when you're confident, when you're not sitting there being hard on yourself, thinking like you're the worst person or that you have to prove something. Because many times when we're dating, especially when you've been disappointed a lot, used, rejected, you constantly feel like you got to prove something. Like you got to show him, like, oh, I'm good enough. He going to pick me this time, blah, blah, blah. No, no. So the moral of this story is his lack of effort is not your fault. Point blank in the period. Say it with me. His lack of effort is not my fault. So what do you do now? You wait for someone who's willing to put in the effort. Because the last thing we want is somebody to come into our life and be inconsistent, somebody we gotta chase, somebody we gotta badger to want to like be here for what? Don't you want somebody who just want you? Because you authentically want someone. Because think about it, as a woman, when you like a guy, he ain't got to ask no questions. He know you want him. Because you on his line. Every time he texts you, you text expeditiously back. Text back right there, right then. What Young Miami say? Real bad. Yes, that be you. Anytime he hits you up, are you free? I'm not, but I will be. Like, you should want that same energy. So let's stop blaming ourselves for men's lack of effort and just wait for the guy who's going to put in the effort. Because why are we wasting our time? Because the more we waste our time, the more we're jaded, the more we have to heal. Like, for what? In the beginning, if you see there's no effort there, don't chase it. Just allow it to come to you. And this ain't even on no like whole law of attraction kind of whatever. It's just common sense. Like who like you. Fall back on who fall back on you. It's like, it's simple. It's simple. Well, all right. Hopefully this helps somebody. But y'all, till next time. Till next time. Hopefully my voice will be back. Bye.